Let's get stuck behind some garbage trucks. You guys got to know they're blocking traffic. Ah, I love getting stuck behind garbage trucks. I will tell you, if you learn nothing else of value driving in New York City, it is developing patience. Ended up late for my client this morning, getting stuck behind a garbage truck. Now, that is what happened. But had I left the house 5 minutes earlier, that doesn't happen. So in the end, the responsibility is still mine. The responsibility is still mine. And today I don't feel as sharp as I normally do. But I'm still here for y'all's. Hopefully the flooding from last week. Like fuck the flooding from last week. Um, Sunday night, going into Monday morning. Very rarely have I ever heard rain hit the ground, hit the asphalt, hit the pavement so hard. Bananas. Absolute bananas. Well, I want to shout out the sanitation department for holding up traffic because none of us have any place to go. None of us have any place to go except just to sit behind you. No, those guys do have a thankless job, but sitting here as somebody who is not doing that job, I definitely feel the pressure to move quicker because I know I'm holding up traffic. Mm. Sometimes that middle age thickness is nice. Mm-mm. It's really nice watching the home run derby. I mean, it's probably nicer because my guy won. It's always better when your guy wins. But it was nice. Pete Alonso really did his thing. He had good timing. He was very relaxed at the dish. And the only thing I can hope as a Mets fan is that the only thing I can hope as a Mets fan is that he takes that kind of swagger, that showmanship, and he applies it to National League East pitching for the rest of the season. I mean, the guy hit 35 home runs in the span of about 4.5 minutes. Um, he's hit about half that, exactly half that in 3 months. I mean, you got, pitching coach, tossing cookies at you. I mean, I get that, but I'd like to see him lay off the high inside fastball and the slider off the plate down and away. That's what I'd like to see out of Mr. Alonso. That would be great. somewhat of an easy day. I mean, it feels like a lazy day, not a whole lot of energy. Doesn't feel like an energetic day, but I'm going to do my best. Supposed to be recording for tonight's Black Power Magic Hour. Didn't happen last Thursday like I thought it would. I need you to stay in your lane, sir. That's what I'm going to need you to do. Stay in your lane. It's not that hard. Today I deadlifted. I moved up in weight 20 pounds. Started out pretty well. Had a rough fourth set. Not a great approach to the bar, but got 25 reps in. Didn't take me too long to get it done. Not too shabby. Trying to coach one of my guys. Um, Trying to coach one of my guys into, being able to get into the proper positioning with the proper movement to set up to the bar. Of course, I get fucked. I'm more fucked up. Um, Getting into position is as important as any other part of the deadlift. Well, I guess you guys don't really know like I know, but uh, the position that you get into will be the position that you're moving out from. So it's important to, make sure really everything you do in life that you put yourself in the proper position first before you try to execute. If you're not in the proper position to execute, things are not going to work out the way you intend them to work. I always say that physical fitness is an allegory for life. There's so many principles that transfer over directly to how we approach life. Like take how men approach life. You could say, from a fitness perspective, it's important to be properly hydrated. And I can tell you as a man, you can't be thirsty out here in these streets. You have to be properly hydrated. So you're not out here simping. See, fitness is an allegory for life. It's crazy how many guys out here simply. But I do think that the amount of guys that are becoming red pill aware or RP aware, those guys are growing too. So there are guys who are waking up, and I applaud those guys. But yeah, you can't be out here thirsty. You gotta be properly hydrated. So basically, don't be simping in the gym. That works more ways than one. Let me tell you. The way I'm feeling right now, as soon as I go home, I'm taking a nap. I definitely should have gotten to sleep earlier. Got to have that sleep discipline so you can wake up energetic, whether or not you have the sun in the sky or you got a cloudy day like this one. You I saw, last time we were here, Cyril was here in the chat and he was celebrating the Suns being up 2 games to 0. One of the things I said, be careful, because the Suns did what they were supposed to do. When you get the first 2 games at home, it's your job as a home team to make sure you win both games because you are in the NBA Finals. We're talking about the last team standing. So, did you watch the Euro final? I did not. I did not. I did hear that there were a lot of people in the UK who showed their racist colors. I did hear about that. I did hear about that. A lot of black football players around the world have been saying something very similar. Their country claims them and celebrates them when they win, but when they lose, oh, it's that guy from that other African country or something much far worse than that. But when they win, oh yeah, he's our countryman. There's a lot of that going on in Europe. There's a lot of that going on in Europe. This guy's ready to cause an accident. Yep. This guy is ready to cause an accident. Driving on the median. Yeah, some British people tatted themselves with England Euro winner 2020, 2021, and then they lost. Yeah, we get people that get caught out there like that occasionally um, here in the United States. People, making bold claims, but if you think your team's gonna win and you're ready to, put that on the line, I can't really, you're just gonna walk around with a tattoo. That's incorrect unless you get it covered over or lasered away. Yeah. That's why you can't listen, and again, because I was talking about your Phoenix Suns. Phoenix did what they were supposed to do, which is win the first two games at home. Because you're, the last two teams standing, you're the best of the rest. So, you can't get too up on yourself when you're up 2-0. You can get up on yourself when you're up 3-0. But that was a pretty dominant victory from Milwaukee at home. So, you can't, get ahead of yourself, but also you're going to start seeing a lot more salt. You're going to see a lot more salt overall um, from people everywhere, But the thing is that if you're a true Phoenix Suns fan, you don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say, you know, because you've been through all of the trash of the past 10 years or so. No matter what trash anybody's talking about your team, none of it really matters because your team's in the finals, and everybody else that's talking shit, their team is not in the finals. So, if I'm you, Serial, I don't give a fuck what anybody's got to say. You know, um, no fucks given because you know, my team's in the finals and yours isn't. So, you know, with the Suns down 20, I still thought that they had a chance with 6 minutes left, but they started trading baskets. Giannis definitely seemed to be, um, he definitely seemed to be like, nah, I'm not having it. So shout out to him. I think it was like 40 something points and like 16 rebounds, some shit, 17 rebounds. I don't know. 6 assists. He went in. Rowdy, you make a pretty good point. Um, um, you're talking about a really high pressure situation to put a kid under. It's really crazy how, I don't want to, I don't want to focus too much on the racial stuff, but I'll say this. One of the things that I have seen since I was younger is that Western society in general seems to have these really high standards for black behavior, decorum, and production. But the things that are said about us, we're less than human, we're animals, we're criminals, we're this, we're that, the other thing, right? But we're expected to perform at levels above and beyond the racial majority. And when we don't, we're the worst people in the world. And I think that you've seen a little bit of that with how the black players who, didn't score on their penalty kicks after extra time. I think you're seeing a little bit of that. You're talking about a young kid on the world stage in a high pressure, high leverage situation with the world kind of on his shoulders, and, he fails to score a goal, and they call it racial abuse, which, it's just weird as an American to hear that term, racial abuse. But, it's something that black people notice for sure. If we perform at the level of white people, we're horrible. And, here's every racist name in the book. We have to consistently perform above and beyond just to not receive racial abuse. I know that's a European term, but, rolling with the theme here. If SB sees you driving an expensive car, they don't stop thinking you're jobless leech on benefits. They think you stole the car. I've been in situations where I've had police officers follow me. I remember one time I was driving, what street I was driving on? I think I was driving on 23rd Street, I believe, once. I was driving east on 23rd Street or 14th Street. But, I was driving east. I had my gray BMW. Oh, somebody. Yeah. Um, uh, and I'm in traffic. I'm in the right lane. And I'm trying to find my way in heavy traffic. And a police officer is behind me, and I know that the police officer is behind me. So I knew that I had to make a turn, but I watched the officer every single time that I would switch lanes and make a turn, and the officer stayed behind me the entire time. The officer made 3 right-hand turns following my 3 right-hand turns. And I kind of had a sense after I made the first right-hand turn. Kind of had a sense. After the second one, I knew what time it was. He was waiting for me to fail to signal within 100 feet of the intersection. The officer was waiting for anything that they could do to stop me because I'm driving. At the time, I had just gotten this car. Not this car that I'm in. But at the time, I had basically just gotten um, my 2016 BMW X5. I was driving in it in 2015. So you're talking about the latest of the latest BMW. And I got an officer making three right-hand turns to follow my three right-hand turns. And then he ends up having to go somewhere else because you can see by the way that I drive that if you want to stop me for something bogus, I'm not giving it to you. You're going to have to pretend. I'm not giving it to you. You know this is a brand new car, which is why you were following me in the first place. So, I'm not going to fall for the old, rear tail light is out. I'm not going to fall for that. Because if I had a car old enough for the rear tail light to be out, you wouldn't be following me right now. So, and I know that I know, especially, with my work schedule being the way it is, with me, basically, going home in the middle of the morning, because back then, I would do, like a 10 or an 11 a.m. session, and by noon I'm done. And here I am, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, just basically driving leisurely through Manhattan without a care in the world, during the day. Why is that guy so relaxed driving a late model BMW during the workday? You know. But the thing is, officer, unless I'm breaking a traffic law, it is none of your fucking business. But then, you get these officers sometimes that they try to find a violation where there is none. Or if there is a violation, they try to pump it up to something that requires being stopped. I haven't had much experience with that because I definitely have gotten away with some shit on the road, you know. So I'm not saying that this is an all the time thing, but with the little bit of experience that I have had, I know that that shit exists. So I had an officer that was following me for several blocks last week when I was on here with you guys. I didn't make it terribly obvious that I was being followed, but again, I didn't do anything on the road that would draw the officer's attention. But I knew you can tell when somebody's switching lanes when you're switching lanes for no real good reason. You can sense when something just you can tell when somebody following you is not just heading in your direction. So if you're paying attention. BMW drivers not signaling is kind of a stereotype. Yeah, I know. It's really funny. Now that you mentioned that, it is really funny. One of the reasons why I got a BMW is because I heard about the stereotypes of BMW drivers. Now, I'm not an aggressive driver at all. I'm a very defensive driver. I like to cruise. I don't really like to feel rushed behind the wheel, but I can tell you from almost 3 years. I was in that car almost 3 years. And this might surprise some of you. But the cars, the I noticed consistently And now that I've had almost 3 years in this car, I can confirm it. The people who drive around BMWs tend to be assholes. And I think it's because they're expecting the BMW driver, or they have a negative opinion of BMW drivers. So they're preemptively assholeish. They engage in assholery towards the BMW driver that they would not normally, that kind of behavior that they would not normally engage in if it was a driver of another make and model. And I was able to confirm that with my experience here in the Mercedes-Benz. In the BMW, if the light turns green and if the light is still red, and it's about to turn green, and I have not accelerated, somebody behind will honk at me. The light's not even green yet, and they're already honking when I'm in the BMW. But in the Mercedes, I could be staring off in the la la land, and I won't get honked at until 4 or 5 seconds after I still haven't moved. But if you're sitting in a BMW on the start line, you're the first one at the intersection. I don't know why you moved to get more in my way, sir. I'm recognizing you as the bicyclist. Okay? Relax. The guy left the bicycle lane so that I would not pass him. It's like, dude, you do see how slow I'm driving. Relax. I almost got hit by a Kia while crossing a street yesterday, but the BMW driver stopped for me to cross. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, one of the things that I've noticed about BMWs of today, because I talk to a lot of people, a lot of people say, BMWs drive a certain way because they're a driver's car. But that was back in the days where manual transmissions were pretty much in all the models. And you only really had, automatics and stuff like the X5 if you asked for it. But by and large, you had the manual transmissions, you had naturally aspirated, V6 engines or inline six engines, or, if you're, moving up to the 50s, then you had like the 8 cylinders. They made aggressive noise on the road, all of that. But the thing is, today's BMWs are more luxury cars than sports cars. The steering is not as sharp as, in previous generations. Almost all the cars are just automatics. Now they've got the hybrid powertrains. Now they're bringing out the I line, which is all electric. I mean, BMW seems to have gone pretty much all in on trying to match Mercedes in the luxury categories. My BMW X5 that I had run flat tires on it, and it's really crazy because I know the difference as a driver and a passenger as far as ride quality. I know the difference now between BMW and Mercedes. But I remember when I helped my aunt move once, and I helped her move with my BMW, and I remember her being in the car, and she's like, "Oh my God, this car rides so smooth," and I'm like, "Holy crap!" You don't really know what a smooth ride is. If you think that this is a smooth ride, you don't really know. So I think that is I wanted to touch on this, Serial. I wanted to touch on this. Um, the people that I find to be the most aggressive drivers are people in uncomfortable metal boxes like Nissan Altimas and people driving MAGA trucks, lifted or otherwise. When I see somebody in a pickup truck, I'm expecting that today could possibly be the last day of my life. And I wish I was fucking joking. I really wish I was joking about that. But I'm really not. I've had pickup trucks do the most unsafe shit around me, aggressively unsafe shit. Like they were meaning to do the unsafe shit for the sake of it being unsafe. Very, very scary stuff. And you look and it's like, oh, they're driving a car with a box in the back. Yep. Get that MAGA truck thing going. And it's consistent. You know, we don't have that many MAGA trucks on the road here in New York City. Most people don't drive those, mostly SUVs, I've noticed. SUVs and sedans. You don't see too many MAGA trucks. And I call them MAGA trucks. I know they're pickup trucks, but you know, it just kind of rolls off the tongue. He's driving his MAGA truck. He's driving his goddamn MAGA truck. All right. I'm taking stock of all the shitty parking spots on the block, hoping that my parking spot is still available. You know, I can always hope and dream, right? And my hopes and dreams were dashed. So I'm going to have to come all the way back around. Somebody in a fucking... I cannot wait to move out of this neighborhood. I can't wait. I just realized that this energy company is going to be hated by SJWs. On the side of the truck it says CISBOT. And I know that the SJWs hate anything that's CIS. I don't even know how they came up with that term. Like they just make up shit, and then we're all supposed to just follow along and be on board. And you're just making up words. What the fuck is cis? Oh, you're cisgendered. No, I'm just a fucking man. Like you want to make up some weird ass shit on the back end. And everybody's supposed to just go for it. Like literally some people eating avocado toast in private made up this new word and then ran out into the world. And then anybody who wasn't privy to that conversation, you know, they're like, you're a horrible person because even though you wasn't there when we made up these rules in our private club, we made up these new words. We made up these new words. You didn't hear about it, but because you're not 100% on board on some shit that you never even heard of, you're a bigot. Isn't cis Commonwealth independent states? I don't know, but they're making it out to be something that applies to actual real men and real women. I don't even like where the you know, they're just making up shit. But whatever. It is what it is. This is the world that we're living in right now. Simplistics. Much love, brother. Much love. But anyway, about those MAGA trucks. Yeah, we don't see too many pickup trucks here in New York City. I mean, the ones that you'll see mostly are like work-related vehicles for the most part. I think I'm going to take this spot here because it's flanked by driveways. I love the parking spots that are flanked by driveways. As long as nobody parks in front of the fucking driveway. Okay. All right, folks. I have reached my destination. I might have a time to take a nap or something, or I don't know, maybe take some pre-workout powder as a stimulant to stay awake. Either way, you guys can look for me on this little driving series probably on Thursday. Deuces!